you can have the most beautiful destination picked out for your road trip. Snacks packed, kids loaded and buckled, fuel tank full. Oh, and everybody remembered their water bottle. But if you don't know why you chose that destination, if it was just because it seemed like the right thing to do at the time or everyone else was doing it, the moment the drive gets hard, you start questioning everything. Should we have gone somewhere else? Is this even worth it, you ask yourself? Can we just turn around? I've watched this happen in homeschooling more times than I can count. A mom can do all the right research, buy the right curriculum, or at least the curriculum that everybody loves. And then the moment you set up the schedule, you're rip, roaring, ready to go. But by November, mom is sitting at the kitchen table at 9 p.m., wondering if the kids are ever going to actually go to bed. Also wondering why she thought she could do this thing. She knows it's not the wrong choice, but she also isn't clear on why she made it in the first place, or if she really knew what she was talking about when she started this journey. Your why is not a nice to have. It is an anchor that holds you on the road when everything in you wants to pull over and stop the bus or stop the minivan. Today, I want to help you find your why. Welcome back. I'm Teresa Wiedrick, homeschool life coach, and this is stop number 2 of the Confident Homeschool Roadmap. If you're new here, link to video 1 is below. So let's get into it. I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to resist the urge to answer it quickly. Why are you homeschooling? Your first answer probably comes fast. Maybe it's because school wasn't working for my kiddo, because I want more time with my kids, because I believe I can give them something better, because I want more freedom in my life. Those are real answers. A couple of them were mine. They matter, but they're the surface layer. Here's the coaching move I use with every new homeschool mom I work with. I ask the why underneath the why. You gave me the reasons. Now tell me more. You want more time with your kids. Why does that matter so deeply to you? The school wasn't working. What were you watching happen to your child that you couldn't keep watching? That second layer is where your real why lives. And that's the one thing worth writing down. It's the one thing that keeps you going on this journey. So I told you about this trip to Ghana our family took in the first video. Well, I want to tell you about the why behind our trip to Ghana. Over a year and a half before we ever stepped on a plane, my husband, who is a physician, made a commitment. He wanted to volunteer again at a rural hospital in northern Ghana. We'd already volunteered in a local rural hospital in Kenya just 2 years previous with our entire homeschool family. And it went really well, and we were really pleased to be part of a world that offered a physician for every 10,000 patients. It was sharing medical resources. I'd always wanted to go to Africa myself, and I was thrilled that we could finally do it. A real need, real gaps, certain adventure, and we met a whole bunch of cool people. So a year and a half before we even stepped on that plane, we made a commitment to go to northern Ghana. And then the Ebola outbreak happened. Ebola. It wasn't in Ghana specifically, but it was close enough. West Africa was the epicenter of the Ebola outbreak, and we were flying in to the feeder airport to the entire Western Africa zone in Accra, Ghana. We were doing this not just with my husband and I, but with our 4 kids. I got to be honest with you about something I didn't say out loud very much at the time. I was not the picture of courage. I watched the epidemic unfold since the previous winter, before most people even knew it existed. I knew we were going there, and I had what I can only describe as mini meltdowns. And girl, the arguments that my husband and I had about that trip, should we go to a country that is near the epicenter of the Ebola outbreak, that is on a walking path to the rural hospital that we were going to work in? Should we go there, even when we know there's a threat of Ebola? I really wanted to honor the commitment that we made. And I also knew that it was not likely that we would see Ebola. Nonetheless, Ebola. So I said coded prayers with the kids. I prayed for perspective and definitely for courage if that was the thing I was supposed to do. But underneath all of that fear was just a simple why. A why that we had built over 18 months, and we didn't walk away from that easily. We believed that our lives were meant to be spent living and sharing, not whiling away necessarily in comfort, while a hospital with 1/10 the staff it needed worked itself to exhaustion. We wanted to make that commitment. We had 4 kids who we believed would learn more from going than from staying. And we believed that showing up for people who needed help, even when it cost something, was what a life well lived looked like. That was our why. And that why held us. So as I shared in the last video, we went and on our trip out of Africa, actually read Isaac Denison's book, Out of Africa, while we were in Africa. Well, before I contracted malaria, that is, because I was sitting with malaria in an ambulance Land Rover for 3 hours on roads out of Africa that really honestly had no business being called roads, but I digress. TB samples were sitting in a Coleman cooler in the back beside our luggage, and just ahead of that were our 4 kids with my husband doing mental math. We weren't assured that day that the flight would take off. It was possibly going to be canceled by the Ghanaian government because of a strike. A driver left us at the tiny airport with 6 backpacks, 6 pieces of luggage, and 4 children, and told us to wait 4 hours in a 10 by 10 space. Can you imagine? Digestive cookies and watered down orange juice were what we had. And we had a lot of great conversations with others as we were sitting in the airport, hoping very much that Ebola hadn't landed here either. And we did a lot of mental math. On that trip, our 13-year-old watched a code on a child in pediatric rounds. Our 9-year-old sat in a church service for almost 3 hours. And all of that church service in Mampruli, not in English, of course. Our 5-year-old at the time scraped 400 dead bugs, he said, off his bed every single night with a cloth. And he still got up the next morning, and we still hung out with the kids, played a lot of soccer, aka football there, of course. We played a lot of ball, and we met and encouraged a lot of families that had been there for quite some time. They did all of that because of a why that they didn't even fully understand yet, but they might have felt it from us. Here's the line that I came back to at the end of that trip, and I believe it's true for every first-year homeschool mom watching this right now. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's the triumph over it. This is what your first year of homeschooling is going to ask from you. Not the absence of doubt, not the absence of fear, but the willingness to move forward anyway, because your why is bigger than your fear. Here's what I've seen happen when a mom starts homeschooling without a clear, owned, certain why. February arrives, slump month. The novelty has worn off. Someone, possibly a family member, a friend, a random comment online says, "Don't you worry that they're missing out on," you fill in the blank? Or how will you know if they're keeping up? Or you watch someone in your community, whether it's in your neighborhood, they're not homeschooling, or in your homeschool co-op or some homeschool group, do something that you didn't even know that you couldn't do with your kids, but you definitely don't have time for. You hear those things and you wonder yourself, oh, really, why am I doing this? Should I be doing this? Am I cheating them? Am I doing right by them? And without a why to come back to, those questions, those concerns, those thoughts, they can land like a grenade. That mom starts second guessing, overscheduling to prove something. They do more than they need to just to prove to themselves they can do it, or they do less and they know they're not doing what they could be doing and they feel bad and shamed by it. Or they're researching new curriculum at bedtime or past bedtime instead of sleeping. She loses the thread of why she got in the car on this big road trip in the first place. Your why is a compass. It orients you back to what matters every single time. Let me walk you through how to find and articulate yours. Step 1, write the surface answer. Whatever was your first thought when I said, why are you homeschooling? Just get it out. Whatever comes first. Don't judge it. Just finish the sentence. I'm homeschooling because. And step 2 is ask the why underneath. Look at what you wrote and ask, why does that matter to me? Write the answer, then ask again. You're looking for the moment your answer stops being about logistics and starts being about the deepest value. Step 3 is to look for the feeling. Your real why will have a deep feeling attached to it. It might be, I want my kiddo to fall back in love with learning. Or I want our family to actually know each other. When you hit the answer that makes your chest feel heavy, that's probably it. Write that one down. Step 4 is to put it somewhere visible, not in a journal that you'll close and forget. A sticky note, maybe on your bathroom mirror or on your lock screen above your kitchen table. Because in November, when the days are short and the doubt is loud, you need to see it without having to look for it. If you want a structured way to work through this, I have something for you. It's called the 7-Day Confident Homeschool Mom Roadmap, and it's free. Each day for 7 days, you get one focused coaching prompt and one small action. Day 2 is entirely devoted to your why, walking you through exactly the process I just described, with space to write and reflect. It sits alongside this video series, so as we move through each stop on the road trip together, the roadmap helps you go deeper on your own time. 10 minutes a day. It'll do more for your year 1 than any curriculum decision you make this week. The link is in the description. Go grab it. One more thing before we close the stop. Your why is not a performance standard. It's not a measuring stick you hold up against yourself every morning to see if you're doing enough. It is not proof to everyone who questions you that you made the right choice. It's not a reason to feel guilty on the hard days. It's simply a compass. It orients you. It says, this is the direction, keep going. And on the days when you've lost the road entirely, like when you have those moments where you have your mini meltdowns, you're tired, your kids are resistant, nothing feels like it's working, your why won't judge you. It just quietly points you back again. That is all you need to do. Thanks for being here for Stop 2. Here's your reminder. You matter in your homeschool life, not just as your kid's teacher, not just as the planner or the one who holds it all together, but as a whole person with needs and desires and a life worth nurturing. Every small intentional shift that you make ripples outward into your kids, your home, and your sense of self. You don't have to overhaul everything. You just have to take one honest step toward alignment. That's what we do here together. So your action before stop 3 is to find your why. Use the 4 steps, write them down, put them somewhere you'll actually see it. We'll be coming back to it at the very end of this road trip. If today's video resonated, please hit subscribe so you don't miss stop 3, where we talk about what education actually looks like when you stop trying to recreate a classroom in your home. That one is going to change how you see your whole homeschool. And if you know a mom who's homeschooling without a clear why, quietly struggling and not sure why it feels so hard, share this with her. It might be exactly what she needs today. And if you're ready to go deeper now, to untangle the overwhelm and rebuild a homeschool life that feels calm, confident, and aligned, I'd love to support you one-on-one. Book a free Aligned Homeschool Reset session with me I have availability on Tuesdays and Fridays. The link is in the description below. Until next time, tend to yourself, trust yourself, and lead your homeschool life from the inside out.